Hello, I'm Molly Phelps, social worker and community organizer here at St. Francis Episcopal Parish and Community Center. I've been thinking a lot about gratitude and abundance recently, perhaps because of our pop-up Bible study, or perhaps because we see scarcity in the work we do here at St. Francis, whether through our food ministry or through our rental assistance programs. I've been reflecting a lot about what it means to feel like there isn't enough to go around, about not having the things we need, and about greed. When I see the word greed, what comes to mind? Is it selfishness? A desire for wealth and power? One of the 7 deadly sins? But what if we defined greed in a different way? What if we thought about greed not as a desire to hoard riches and power and leave others destitute in our wake, but as a concept through which we can relish in the pleasure and joy of others and vice versa? In our world today, it's possible that we find ourselves feeling envy for the things that others have. We can fall into the trap of feeling jealous over the pleasures and joy of others, whether through experiences or commodities, because in our corner of the world, there really is not an accessible abundance of resources for everyone. There's a level of destitution for all of us because we live in a system where we are pitted against each other to stake claim or to find our way to the top, or even just to keep our heads above water. But what if it were possible for us on the other side of this desire and lack, where scarcity is no longer a fear, to take pleasure in the experiences and fulfillment that others experience? What if we did away with the distinction of things like my consumption and your consumption, the conflict between my well-being and yours, and instead create synthesis, resonance, and deeper connection? It might surprise us how much richer our experiences are for it. My reflections this week have also led me to thinking about the concepts of sadness and joy. Sadness is isolating, and there are structures that perpetuate that isolation and individualization of sadness. We are taught that sadness is pathological and something that should be fixed. Sadness, in this sense, much like trauma, reduces our ability to act and impedes our ability to grow. But what if we root ourselves in the belief that sadness is not something to be pathologized or eradicated? What if instead we commit to incorporating sadness, rage, despair, and collective experiences of those same difficult feelings into our concept of what it means to be joyful? You might be thinking, joyful? Joyful in pain, in grief? Some would say yes. Let's talk about a different framing for joy. Joy, by the definition I'd like to propose today, does not mean happiness. Happiness can be used as a tool of subjugation, as a way of keeping us envious of others and continuing to participate in our own personal fights against scarcity. Happiness in our culture can be seen as a duty, that we must always strive to be happy, whereas unhappiness is seen as a disorder. We are urged to consume happiness at all costs as the ultimate goal. But life is so much more complicated than that. Difficult feelings are a part of life, and we are not made better by trying to erase them. Instead, we are invited to find ways to be vulnerable and in community with one another, to support each other and explore these feelings together through struggle and collective healing. Many of our challenges as people and as a society are impossible to solve individually, and we need each other to survive and grow. What if we were invited to participate actively in the forces that shape us with the people around us? What I'm talking about more broadly here is the concept of joyful transformation. Joyful transformation is the idea that through struggle, we create a new we, a new collective, where we learn how to be attuned to situations or relationships and learn how to participate in and support the transformation of ourselves and others, rather than directing or controlling it. This would require us to engage in things that pull us away from comfort and safety and require responsibility and accountability within ourselves and to each other to undo stuckness, patterns that no longer serve our collective well-being, and become more vulnerable and cohesive with one another. It would require us to be present, to be awake inside our real selves in real time. How often can we say that we really do that? I know I don't do it nearly enough. So, what's my point with all of this? Abundance is not just something we can strive for with material goods, but for things that will fulfill all of our needs, physical, mental, spiritual, and for experiences, real, collective experiences that allow us to share in and create joy through struggle, through pain, through taking back agency over the things that happen to and around us that impact us individually and collectively on all levels. We can find examples of ways that we are already engaging in the beginning of joyful transformation, even in small ways all around us. We can see it in moments where we've shared difficult and painful feelings with others, in collective meditation and breathing, in trying our best to listen to what one another are really saying. I will leave you with another example of this human connection, this collective growth and cohesion that spoke to me this week. It's an ensemble dance piece that requires a tremendous amount of trust, vulnerability, and connection with all others involved. You'll find the link in the description for this video. I hope you find it as beautiful as I did.